we had this fellow, and he made a video, 45-minute video, criticizing my notion of science. Okay, and I think it came in very handy, partly because I was doing the videos. Okay, I was in the process of doing some of these videos talking about science. He criticized like 6 or 7 of them. I don't remember how many I've got up there, and um, and so he criticized them, and I'm going to analyze point by point that he made. I think it's good that he did it in great measure because 99% of the people out there believe just like he does. They have the same. They went to the same monastery, okay, and they learned the same. I call it the mathematical method. They call it the scientific method. It's got nothing to do with science, okay? And today we're going to show that. We're going to show that his method fails completely, okay? Hopefully we can find out, whether he's even in the ballpark. Okay, so this is what this fellow said with respect to what I'm going to talk about today. Again, I'm going to be analyzing point by point. Today, we're going to look at a couple points, and these are the points, okay? Here, give me a second here. Let me prepare it, okay? And here goes. Listen tight. There we go. Questions and issues addressed in this rebuttal include: this fellow claims that discovering the nature of gravity is very difficult, and that the mathematicians don't have all the answers. Then he contradicts himself by asserting that the mathematicians have already figured out the mechanism of gravity, specifically the answer to why the moon doesn't fly out of the solar system. So, which is true?
Because it's not exactly easy. You don't just drop something and go, oh, that fell. I guess it's invisible green pixies then.
So, why haven't the mathematicians who call themselves physicists figured out the extremely simple mechanism of gravity after 2,500 years of research, experiments, and math? This fellow replies that the mathematicians don't yet have all the answers.
That might be because we don't have all the answers yet. Science can answer those questions. It just may not be fully complete yet.
But then in the same breath, he boasts that the mathematicians do indeed know the cause of gravity. That all you are required to do from now on is memorize and repeat what they have already discovered.
Well, that's because Earth bends space-time, and bent space-time can alter the 3D trajectory of an object. So that question has been answered. Maybe try taking a science course.
Okay, so he says he doesn't know what gravity is. He drops something, for example, in this case, a spoon. He doesn't know why that falls. Says no mathematician on Earth can tell you that. They all have all these equations. They did all the experiments ever thought about. No one can explain why this spoon falls to the Earth. We have two objects, the Earth and the spoon. Not a single mathematician, not a single idiot at any university on the planet can tell you why, what causes this spoon to fall to the floor. Okay, that's the issue. Okay, so here we go. Here's what this fellow believes. He believes that the moon rolls around space-time, warp time. He says that there's something called time, a physical object that is bent. Okay, that's what he says. Okay, here it is. This is what he believes in. This is what he was taught in high school or at the monastery. This is where the altar boys get, their information of how, this ridiculous thing is what these people believe in. And 99% of the people out there believe in this garbage, this nonsense, this poppycock. Okay, this is what they say science is. Okay, so here we have, the notion that they have out there. Again, a different version of it. Warp space-time, is that what they call it? Warp time, bent time, as he says. Okay, so we have bent time, great. And this is NASA, this is the official version, okay, there you see it. And you can see the caption there, Gravity Probe B measured how gravity warps space and time. Okay, so everybody says the same thing, and they illustrate it. There should be no reason not to doubt this nonsense coming out of NASA, because all these PhDs in mathematics, right, they tell you in your face that it's warp space and time, and you're staring at it. Now, I don't know what part you would not understand when you're staring at what they're saying. They're saying that time is warped, that time is bent, okay? And then when you question them, they put this cartoon to ridicule you. They say, understanding gravity, space-time is like this rubber sheet. Massive objects distort the sheet, and And a student says they distort it because they're pulled down by what? And the other fellow immediately changes the subject and says, space-time is like this set of equations for which any analogy must be an approximation. Well, we have a little bit of problem because this is what they illustrated, and we need to explain why the Earth doesn't fly out of the solar system. Okay, and these people are telling you that the reason is that the Earth, which is a three-dimensional solid, quite solid, you can sit on it, you can jump on it, right? And they're saying that that big object called Earth, or any planet, even a moon, why it doesn't leave the solar system is because time is bent. Now, what sense does that make? And you might say, Bill, that's not what he said. Let's hear it again. Let's make sure we all understand what this individual said and what everybody out there believes. Let's put it one more time just for your amusement, okay? Here it goes. Okay, give me a second.
Well, that's because Earth bends time, and bent time can alter the 3D trajectory of an object. Bent time can alter the 3D trajectory of an object. Bent time can alter the 3D trajectory of an object.
Did you hear it correctly, or did I lie? The guy said bent time, and that's what prevents the Earth from flying out of the solar system. This is the nonsense that these altar boys learn at the Cambridge Monastery, or at NASA, or CERN, or who knows where. This is the nonsense that is out there. It's ridiculous nonsense that has nothing to do with science or with physics. Okay, so he says he doesn't understand, or no mathematician on Earth can tell you why this spoon falls to the floor. Okay? And let's look at this. Let's look at this simple, very simple issue that no one has been able to solve in 10,000 years. Why a spoon falls to the floor. I mean, how difficult can that be? We've got a spoon and we have the Earth. You don't like that? You like an astronaut and the Earth? You don't like that? You like the moon and the Earth? Two objects, no matter how you look at it. Two objects, okay? Here we have the spoon and the Earth. No one on Earth can tell you why that spoon falls to the Earth. Let's look at it, okay? Here we go. This is the spoon falling down to Earth. And so you say, well, why does a spoon fall to Earth? I mean, why doesn't it fall upwards towards the sky, towards the ceiling? Why does it fall to the floor? Okay, important question. Okay, so this fellow says, well, I can do it with pixies, green pixies. So I didn't know what a pixie was exactly. I mean, I had an idea, but I looked it up, and these are the two notions that are out there. One of the green pixies are these Peter Pan-like gnomes or whatever that are flying around. Okay, we can do it with that. And we have the other green pixies where it's just particles. Okay, so we have these two notions. I'm going to go with the one on the right, and you can replace each one of those dots with the green pixies on the left. No problem whatsoever. Okay, so here I want to know the mechanism. I'll grant the green pixies. I'll let him simulate gravity with his green pixies. He can choose any green pixies he wants. Okay, here we go. Are the green pixies pushing the spoon downwards? Is that how gravity works? Is this what he's going to explain? Or is it that maybe they're pulling from below somehow, okay? Like here. Is that what's happening? Which one is true? And I mean, he's got maybe a different explanation. I can only simulate, with his green pixies, how I think that he might be trying to simulate gravity. But, I don't mind. He can come up with a different scenario and tell me, no, it's neither push nor pull. Okay, you tell me. I don't know how you do it with your green pixies, and I'm granting the green pixies. Okay, now if green pixies means something else that I don't know about, and you have a different mechanism, then I'll swallow my beer. Okay, so here we have, again, the spoon in free fall, okay? This is what we see. And you say, well, Bill, how do you do it? You're so smart, right? Okay, smarty pan, let's see how you do it. Okay, this is how we do it. We say that every atom of that spoon is bound, physically bound by electromagnetic ropes. Very thin, thinner than the Planck constant, or thinner than anything you can imagine. We're talking about every atom of that spoon being connected to every atom of the Earth. And here we see the mechanism. This is why a spoon falls to the ground, because every atom of that spoon is bound to every atom on Earth. And no, I did not draw every rope. Okay, it's just conceptual so that you can understand the mechanism. If the spoon is made of gazillions of atoms, and each one of those is connected to the gazillion atoms of the earth, you can see why, as it falls, the ropes fan out. That's the mechanism of gravity that none of these idiots from Cambridge, from Harvard, from Oxford, and from Caltech, none of these idiots, these mathematicians, ever figured out. It was so simple. All you had to do was make the invisible objects that connect every atom to the earth visible. Once you make it visible, the mechanism is kid stuff. It's for babies. Okay? So let's make sure we understand why all these mathematicians were never doing science. Because to do science in the context of physics, right, you have to make the invisible objects that Mother Nature uses visible. If you don't make them visible, you're doing magic. Okay, that's what it is. These people instead put concepts in there. They said, we're going to do it with mass. We're going to do it with field. We're going to do it with energy. What is that? Can you draw a picture of energy? Please illustrate it for me. Show me what energy is. And then you can talk, okay? But here we have, and you say, Bill, where did you get this nonsense of the ropes, my rope? Where did you get this nonsense that all atoms are interconnected and that there are invisible, intangible ropes? Well, the first thing you have to understand is that an object is not that which you can see or touch, which is the definition everybody has out there. Exist, is not that which you can see or touch, which is the definition of exist that most people have out there. And that's the one the mathematicians, Cambridge and Harvard, that's the one they use. They use the see touch. And so they said, let's go to the lab. What are you going to go to the lab for? Well, I want to find out what gravity is. How are you going to find out in the lab with an experiment, you deranged moron? How are you going to find out going to the lab when you can't see or touch that which is invisible and intangible? What part don't you understand? Mother Nature has invisible, intangible objects. Because the word object is not defined as that which you can see or touch. The word object is defined as that which has shape. This has shape, a rope. The electromagnetic rope you cannot see or touch. So please don't go to the lab. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your brain, your tiny brain. If you go to the lab, you're never going to figure out. You have to sit back, visualize how Mother Nature could be doing gravity. And you say, well, where did you get this rope, that all atoms are interconnected? Okay, so for those who require proof and evidence, because they think science is about proof and evidence and testing the hypothesis, whatever that nonsense is. Okay, let's test the hypothesis. Okay, let's present proof and evidence for all those deranged individuals who went to college and just parroted the party line. Okay, here's a professor, PhD in physics, mathematics. Okay, he's going to tell you where I got that from. Here it is, okay? His name is Richard Muller. He's from Berkeley University. Listen carefully, okay, instead of opening your mouth, okay? Here it goes. Give me a second. Here it goes.
What's the force of gravity on me? It's the pull of the Earth on my body. So, for example, if you have the Earth with its big mass here, and you have you with your little mass here, that every atom on the Earth is pulling on every atom of you. You're also pulling on it. On the other hand, there are a lot of atoms here you're pulling on. You're pulling on all of them. The amazing thing about gravity is it goes right through things.
Okay? You're pulling on every atom of the Earth. Do that with space-time. How are you going to do it with space-time, with warp time? How are you going to pull on an atom, on Earth? Every atom in your body is pulling on every atom on Earth. Every atom on Earth is pulling on you. How do you pull if not with an elongated object? If every atom on Earth is bound to every atom in your body, then you can see why when you jump, you fall back. Because now you have a physical mechanism. But to say that you did it because of gravity, which is what you're trying to explain really, or that you did it because mass, or because of energy or force or field, what are you saying? What's the mechanism? So I concede your stupid field, your stupid energy. How do you explain the mechanism? I want to see the mechanism that you propose for why the spoon falls to the floor. That's the issue. And if you cannot explain it, you're not a physicist. You're a damn mathematician. That's all you are. Who's using the word physics to label yourself. We don't have physicists on Earth, on any university on the planet. This is the only site that does physics. We do it with objects. We explain gravity with objects. We explain magnetism with objects. We explain electricity with objects. And obviously the working of the atom. Okay, so here it is one more time, okay, just so you can see it. So for example, here, if you have the Earth, there's a big mass here, and you have you with your little mass here. Every atom on Earth is pulling on every atom of you. You're also pulling on it. Are you listening, or is it going through from one ear to the other with nothing in between? The amazing thing about gravity is that it goes right through things. How does gravity go right through things unless every atom is connected to all other atoms physically? That's the only way you can explain this. And the reason no one can explain why two objects, a spoon and the Earth, in 10,000 years, no one has been able to explain gravity, is because they don't use objects. They don't use things. And if you're going to explain a mechanism, you need things. You need to make the invisible things that are here, which are untouchable and unseeable, you have to make those things visible. Then someone can explain the mechanism. Imagine if you're pulling on a rope that's wound around a pulley and holding a box. Okay, so you pull on the rope and the box goes up. Now let's get rid of the rope. Let's make it an invisible rope. So the guy goes like this, and the box goes up. And you don't see the mechanism. You say, oh, how did the box go up? Every time he goes like this, the box goes up. It's such a simple thing. All you have to do is make the rope visible, and then it's kid stuff. But as long as you don't see the rope and you can't touch the rope, people say, oh, it's magic. Okay? And that's the only difference. The only difference between what the mathematicians do and what we do here is that we make the objects visible that Mother Nature uses, Father Universe, whoever you believe in.